and represent the repercussions of World War II and the flourishing of anti-Semitism and the hardships and loss of that time in history.
The Brutalist tells the story of an artist and a rich guy and dives into the exploitative relationship experienced by Adrien Brody's character. Do you think it is possible to draw a parallel with any existing system in Hollywood?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I think that capitalism is inherently exploitative, and yet it seems to be the only system which functions. That's what's so complicated about it. Even democratic socialism, if you start looking under the hood of the car, you will find capitalism. Let's take the social experiment of Norway, for example, which is one of, the most successful of these utopian social experiments. Well, that's very much at the expense of the rest of the world because their number one export is oil. So everyone drives a Tesla, and yet it is as a result of having profited in the 1970s off of, this substance which is ruining the planet very, very quickly. I think what's interesting about capitalism is that it's sort of omnipresent. It's something that we, of course, all have to deal with.
Do you think it is possible to draw a parallel between your experience in The Pianist and The Brutalist?
There are parallels, yes. I think they're vastly different films and characters. However, both of them exist and represent the repercussions of World War II and the flourishing of anti-Semitism and the hardships and loss of that time in history. The work I had done to honor the character of Spielman in The Pianist definitely gave me insight into the horrors of that time. And even though that is the backstory of Laszlo's experience in The Brutalist, I think it was invaluable in my ability to portray and understand the significance of that in a story that really is a journey of a man coming to the United States on the heels of that war and that time in history and really trying to begin a life anew.
The relationship between Laszlo and Harrison is filled by a series of dualities like admiration and envy, alliance and exploitation, and etc. What was it like to you to bring such a human and complex character to life?
Oh, well, it was a real honor, to be honest. I mean, it was a great opportunity. This script came along and, scripts like this and characters like this don't come along all the time. I was excited by it. I felt that it was a character that I knew I could play. There were still things I was surprised about when we started shooting. I didn't necessarily pick up on how Adrien would play Laszlo, and he played him with such a great sense of inner strength and inner integrity, which was actually a great, slightly unnerving thing for me to have to deal with, because I think Van Buren would assume that Laszlo would be a man more ready to acquiesce and just be more of a victim. I think this is perhaps how Van Buren would assume that somebody from his background might behave. But Adrien didn't play him like that. And in a way, that's actually what I think helped justify and fueled the envy that I felt for Laszlo. Was more about his sense of self than it was just his ability as an architect. So it was great. There was a lot to work with. It was fantastic.
Previous reports stated that The Brutalist took 7 years to come to life, experiencing difficult moments behind the scenes. It is true that insurance companies refused to approve the production because the script was too long. How do you manage to convince them otherwise?
I'm just very, very stubborn, and so I continued to bang on a drum about certain things until they eventually got done. An insurance company doesn't care how long the screenplay is if you have enough time and money to shoot it. The issue was, of course, that there were a lot of concerns that I would not be able to deliver the movie in the 33 days that were allotted to us. But, I've made films all my life. It is my only area of expertise. And so at this point in my life, I've got pretty good depth perception and I know how long things take. So I was very confident that even though the screenplay was 170 pages, that I would be able to deliver it in 33 days, and I did.